And now for our guest speaker, I already gave him a shout out before. So everybody knows AI is a brand new initiative. I mean, it's been around for a while, but it's exploded in the way we do business operations. And if you're not getting on these initiatives now and you're doing your business the way it's been in the past, you're going to fall behind and your competitors are going to take you over. So this is, I felt that Yehuda, who's an expert in this development and really in the forefront of this, would be a very good speaker for our group to just tell some of the ideas of how businesses can benefit from AI and the how it's really transforming everybody and everything. So without further ado, Yehuda, who's an expert in development in AI modules and stuff like that, will come up and share some words on his expertise in AI. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, everybody. So my name is Yehuda Koblick, as Heshi introduced. Let me know, closer? Okay, there we go. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so I'm Yehuda Koblick. I'm the founder of DreamPoint.AI. I worked in enterprise software for over 20 years in all different capacities, and I've been leaning into neck-deep AI for the past almost a year. And I'm just going to talk about some practical suggestions, things that we can all do in our daily business workflows, and things that might be helpful. So, by way of introduction, I would say that I remember witnessing in the 1990s the internet boom. We all remember that. And then the 2010s, the mobile first era. I remember when the new Microsoft CEO, Satya Nadella, who's the current CEO, he was onboarded, and he said, we're leaning into Microsoft being a transformative company. We're going to be cloud first and mobile first. There was this mobile first era, and now we're starting to see a bit of the decay of the smartphone. And that's all going to be changed and replaced by agents. So we are in the dawn, in the era of AI agents. So what does that mean? That means that now we use ChatGPT, we use Gemini, we put in information, we say, help me craft this email, and then we go ahead and we send the email. The agentive way of doing things using an agent is to say, I have an agent that's going to craft an email and send it for me and then respond to the response automatically. So companies are building armies of agents. Everything is about agents, and an agent, by definition, is a digital worker that does work on your behalf. So when we see agents everywhere, that's what we should just bear in mind, the simple concept of a digital worker that does work on your behalf. And in your businesses, you should start think about employing these agents into your business. Okay. We also really need to understand that AI is both transformative and ubiquitous. That's what I always tell people, which means it can exist and add value everywhere. It's in every level, every workflow, everything that you do, you can infuse it with a little bit of AI somehow. The question is that really better? Is that really worth the effort? Is it going to be a value-driven solution that you think about doing? So you have to really do your homework and understand and really audit your daily process, your daily workflows, the systems that you use, and say to yourself, what will AI really help me? Where are the golden nuggets in this transformation? I'll give you an example. Some people are saying that I use ChatGPT, it's shallow, it's dumb, it's this, it's that. After using it for 6 months, I sort of think I know what it's going to tell me. Do you know that every single credit card transaction that we do worldwide, globally, passes through a domain-specific model, which means that these companies have their own version of a ChatGPT model that enumerates over every transaction looking for fraud. Stripe was able to say that we were looking at card testing fraud, which is very complex, and they were able to go from 67% to 97%. That's an enormous amount of revenue that their company was able to achieve through AI means. So let's talk about some practical suggestions. Productivity in the daily grind. So we're all familiar with using ChatGPT. Some of us are using Gemini, but most of us are not using ChatGPT projects, and fewer of us are using Gemini gems. Everybody should look into using these because they add a lot of contextual awareness to the work that we do. I'm very bullish on Gemini Gems for small tasks. People are familiar with ChatGPT projects, but you should look into these. Gemini Gems are really helpful at crafting all kinds of writing, and because what happens over time is there's a real congestion. Because you use ChatGPT over time, you're going to have a ton of chats on your left column, and you're going to try to figure out where things are. You want to go back. Where's that contract that I was able to draft? Or where's that great email that it helped me put together? So what you want to do is you want to put these into projects where you have that awareness, where you have 40 emails that you really like or that were in your style, or 40 or 20 proposals that you would like, and that becomes sort of the knowledge base of these projects and these gems. So look into Gemini Gems. And if you want to learn more about these Gemini Gems and some of these emerging AI productivity tools, you should be looking at what Google is putting out in their skills. And they have something, you could write this down, it's called AI Bites. And these are wonderful 2-minute segment videos that are very informative. There's no hype, there's no sponsorship in them, very practical, very useful. It really helped me in my daily work grind. I also want people to think about using tools that surface AI better. So for instance, a lot of people like to run their businesses on WhatsApp. It's a really difficult ecosystem to employ AI. Tools like Slack are much, much better at that. So for example, I talk to business owners and they're using WhatsApp, and I say, see if you can start migrating your clients to Slack, and then we can talk about some automations and things that you can employ. I want to double down on what Evan was talking about with AIEO. Rafi? Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies. I'm trying to remember everyone's name. The term is not really well baked yet. I like to call it GEO, Generative Engine Optimization. But what everyone has to understand is that search traffic is migrating from Google onto ChatGPT in a very accelerated way. They run more searches on ChatGPT in that 1 year that it took Google something like 10 years to achieve. And therefore, everyone has to really be mindful of that. There's tools that can help you. But even on a practical, personal brand level, the traditional thinking was always to build out a social media presence. You really have, that's really changing. So because if you look at where you stand on these LLM platforms, on these models, ChatGPT, Gemini, et cetera, you'll see that it's indexing other things. It's trained on different things like Wikipedia, things like YouTube. You want to be writing new content, articles, authority, FAQs on your website, et cetera. And another thing I want everybody to think about, and it's a little bit boring, honestly, but it's worth the time investment, and that's to go back and look at prompt engineering. Prompt engineering was a very hype-y kind of concept that kind of took a little bit of a nosedive. But the idea is that when we use ChatGPT, ChatGPT is a mass consumer product. But if we want to get predictable outcomes, things that are helpful to us, we have to learn how to prompt these models properly. So go on YouTube, type in prompt engineering, find a very good course on that. Spend an hour, learn how to use, and if there's one thing I could tell you about prompt engineering that's very helpful, is to provide examples, something as simple as that. There's a science to doing it and a way to do it, but the salient point is to provide examples. If you want emails to come out in your style, give examples of emails that you've written in the past. Keep these prompts and evolve them and hone them, but don't just do 1, 2, 3 sentences and expect to have the outcomes that you're looking for. A final thing that I would mention, and this is something Hesh and I are working on, not to be promoting, but something to think about, and that is voice agents. I started the talk with ideas of agents, AI workers doing work on your behalf. People should be considering that they don't have to answer the phone after hours. If they're busy, they can have a voice agent answer the call, and they can actually do scheduling and do work on their behalf. So that's something that you should definitely think about doing. If you have to do collections, instead of necessarily hiring a collections company, you can employ outbound voice agents that can call people on your behalf and do that work for you. So with that, I want to conclude.
What might have any questions?
I hate to, it's actually not a question, it's a plug.
Okay.
We do hundreds of in-day calls basically a year, very time consuming. You would have put together an excellent agent basically demo for us that replaces that call and in a very short amount of time. And just plug that. That's outstanding, and he's great at doing that, and I'm just plugging into that.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question is, when you do an agent, do you
Yes, he is.
pay them a payroll?
To be
Or
soon,
do you
not out
just
yet.
make it and then it works?
This is a free digital worker. You just have to pay someone to build it for you if you don't build it yourself.
She's gonna build it herself.
Yeah, for sure.
You can do anything.
I think everything you said was totally right. And I just want to say for anyone who's anxious or nervous about trusting AI, for a friend of mine who was trying to figure out how he could use it as a lawyer, where he's like, I don't know if I can trust it. I'm billed by the hour and I can't trust it to do my work. I said, what about using the AI as your red team? Upload the work that you've done and then tell the AI, act as the opposing counsel. What are the holes that they're going to try to find in my argument? And you can do that for anything. I did that. I wrote up a contract with somebody, and I said, what's the other person's lawyer going to think about this contract? And so that's a first way where you're not saying, I'm not relying on it to create for me, but I'm using it as a sparring partner for improving my work.
That's
Love it.
amazing.
Great.
So that's like great for sales also, overcoming objections, like anticipating the objections, questions that you may get from a prospective client or customer, right? That's amazing.
Her report
Yes.
from college. She says, and she was like, she uploaded her report,
Right.
she wrote it, and she says, look at my report, analyze, what do you think is weak over here, what do you think is strong over here, what do you think, with blah, 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 how do you think I can, she wrote the whole thing, but she did upload it and say it, and said, okay, this is really strong, this argument needs a little bit of whatever, so you can use it to help you.
Yes, also when you have a good idea, ChatGPT will say, that's better than all the ideas I've given so far. And I don't know they say that. Yes, and then they'll tell me why.
It's a law, you have to be careful.
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
It can spin back what you wanted to hear. It's smart like that.
They-
Like that.
Yeah.
No, but they told me why, and it made sense, because I did come up with something
No,
better.
it's
Yeah.
There also is a book by Sam Simone called The Hope of Singularity, and it teaches how to balance the power of AI with the respect for humanity and the human touch.
Oh, that's interesting.
Last question, I'll take one more question.
That's interesting. Go ahead.
Singularity.
So that kind of transitions into my question. I use ChatGPT like 90% of my workday. And can you hear me, by the way?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Great. Sometimes I feel like when I'm relying on ChatGPT, it's like asking a 10-year-old child to do something professional, where it's just telling me why I have a great idea, or it'll be like, here's a grammatically better version, and I feel like I have to give it so many specific directions to actually answer what I'm trying to get output from. So what's a great system to kind of use ChatGPT or any other AI model where they have an idea of what you're trying to ask them without you having to literally do more work than them, trying to be like, this is exactly what I'm asking you to do. Also, I work in B2B. Everything that we do, like I'm in the, in the initial market, like it's all word of mouth, it's all personalized. Everything I do is based on connection. I feel like AI doesn't understand that. Yes. So also, how would but how would you use AI also to like kind of make it more personable, but knowing like our market?
Well, contextual awareness is a big thing that they're working on scientifically. I don't want to get into the nitty-ditty on that, but I will say, I think in your case, projectizing your work is very critical. Basically, creating a ChatGPT project. If you have, I think, paid account, get a paid account, try it for a month. Or if you have Google Workspace, Gemini Gems, there's comparable in other AI models, but those two are really good. But the idea is you want to build a project and you add history, add information, add your emails chain to it, add some sample things that it's generated in the past that you liked. Build that knowledge base, and then it'll use that knowledge base for those repeatable outcomes.
The free ChatGPT things, I feel like I have to remind them because they have to do that.
Right, because it's free.
They want you to pay for it.
They make themselves forgetful, so you pay.
Yeah, that's part of their
Very
model.
expensive. I think it's $20 a month.
It's only $20.
Clock is there.
Do exactly what you tell it to do. So it can't think on its own
Right.
out of the box. That's where you come in. So it's a great tool when it helps us on certain projects, but remember, you're dealing with adults. There's no other way to describe it.
So I would just say, right, everything comes down to tasks, right? If we keep the tasks simple, such as Gemini 3 saying, book me the cheapest flight to Israel, okay? It can do that and integrate all of that in. So yes, we talk about it from a business perspective, but if we have a simple task that we wanted to do, it's actually very good at doing something simple. And of course, the AI has to evolve and develop to deal with the nuances of businesses, which is going to take time, but it's headed in that way, right? But for simple stuff, right, it can totally do it. The Gemini 3, which was introduced last week, can do a full booking, find me a trip to Israel, non-stop, give it the parameters, and it will keep that search going to find the cheapest flight and alert you when it encounters it. I mean, it's actually stuff we would never really have thought about, but if we just think about it from our own tasks of what we want to do, and it's very simple, it's very good at doing that.
I also think that we should never give away our personal power to AI, and we should always hold the reins.
Yes.
Okay, sure.
I have a question. When you suggest different AIs have specialized or different things, let's say Claude is better with verbiage and ChatGPT is better, would you suggest that, and because it learns as it goes, in other words, let's say if I use ChatGPT to work on things, and my prompts are generally multi-sentence, okay, I took conventions before I went into design, I had to be in computer science, but because of that,
Yeah.
do you think that it's better to stick with one specific AI, or rather use, let's say, Claude for this, or Gemini for this, and ChatGPT for that?
I think it's worth trying them out. A/B tests. You'll see differences. Gemini is I find it much better for writing than ChatGPT. ChatGPT is very encouraging and follow-upping and positive, and it's chatty. Everything you say is good. Gemini is much more rigid and specific for writing. Gemini, you.
I know this is an article, so I happen to be a journalist too, sorry about that, but I would write my own stuff and then I will upload it to ChatGPT just for editorial content, but I do my own writing. But we think rather than pick and choose a little bit by writing.
Try them out, yeah.
Would you compare AI to a calculator? Like a higher version of a calculator that sometimes it's faster to do math in your head?
Could be.
Sometimes it's better to put the numbers in.
I mean, 1 + 1, I don't have to ask ChatGPT, but.
Okay, thank you.
Very much. We need to do a round 2 of this.
Oh, okay.
Before we get to the picture, I just want to do one quick announcement, which was already said.
Sure.
So this is typically
Pleasure. Sure.
do the math yourself, or you may know the numbers. But typically a regular breakfast AI, which would you? A regular breakfast sponsorship typically is $750, which gets you to come up here and be able to have 2 minutes, 3 minutes, to be able to share with what you do in a much better format and however you want to present that. Once you get you get the logo on the flyer, and then you get blasted out an email, and the front page magazine. So that's for the breakfast sponsorship. As you already know, every single event we have your logo on the backdrop banner. So if you want to make a calculation, put everything together of having both spots on the banner, plus membership, plus one breakfast sponsorship, we could do a monthly price at $125 a month. So if you want to break that all into one package, that deal there's only 11 spots left in that deal. So, and I plan on selling them out fast. This way we're gonna be, it's gonna be 12 months.
$1,500 for $1,700 value.
That's basically what it comes out to be. So $125 a month will get you all that package, and you get yourself a breakfast sponsorship. So that's basically that. So we're down to 11. Just wanted to, and also most importantly, thank you guys for coming. Thank you so much. And let's come up for the group photo. The faster we do that, the faster we're